The Chaffee County man accused of murdering his wife walked out of jail today. This as new details about what happened after she went missing become public.
This is National Suicide Prevention Month. We're putting a spotlight on mental health in kids. With suicide rates slowly rising, we're talking about what parents should know.
And injuries could be threatening to derail the Broncos' progress despite their undefeated start to the season. 4 o'clock at 9 News starts now. Suzanne Morefue disappeared from her home near Salida on Mother's Day of last year. It was 4 months ago that prosecutors charged her husband Barry with first-degree murder. They said Suzanne had been having an affair for 2 years and told Barry that the marriage was over. Well, late last week, a judge decided to send that case to trial, setting a $500,000 bond for Barry Morefue.
9 News crime and justice reporter Matt Jablow was in Salida today when Morefue walked out of the Chaffee County Jail.
Barry Morefue walked out of the Chaffee County Jail right around 12:30 Monday afternoon. Surrounded by his daughters, he quickly got into the back seat of a waiting pickup truck without answering reporters' questions. It was the latest chapter of a lengthy and highly scrutinized story that we now know a lot more about after a judge unsealed Morefue's arrest warrant, 131 pages laying out the prosecution's case that Morefue killed his wife with a tranquilizer gun when she decided to leave him and then disposed of her body. The warrant includes what prosecutors describe as Barry's constantly changing statements to investigators and the last known picture of Suzanne, which prosecutors say she emailed to her boyfriend the day before she went missing. The warrant also shows pictures from a surveillance video of Barry in Broomfield just a few hours after Suzanne disappeared. Pictures that appear to show him carrying 2 shovels while walking into a hotel and then putting several full garbage bags in the hotel's dumpster. As a condition of his release, Morefue must live in Chaffee County and wear an electronic ankle monitor at all times. He's due back in court for a hearing on November 9th. In Salida, Matt Jablow, 9 News.
And Barry Morefue has pleaded not guilty. The judge in the case said he believes it could go either way in front of a jury. It has been 2 months since a couple from Florida left for a West Coast road trip. Only one of them returned. Over the weekend, investigators found what they believe to be Gabby Petito's remains in Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Today, investigators searched the home of her fiancé, Brian Landry. He didn't talk to police after he returned to Florida without Gabby earlier this month, and then last week he disappeared. His family told police they haven't seen him since Tuesday. That prompted a search of a local nature reserve. Still, no sign of him.
His family says that this is a place that he frequents. They also believe that this is where he came.
An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow to determine whether the body found in Grand Teton is, in fact, Gabby's.
In Larimer County, fire crews continue to keep an eye on the winds as they mop up what is left of a vegetation fire. The Poudre Fire Authority said that fire broke out a little after 10 this morning in the foothills just west of Fort Collins in Loveland. The flames spread about 17 acres of rocky terrain, and they came within yards of at least one home. Fire crews fought the fire from the ground as well as the air, dropping 1,400 gallons of retardant on the fire. Of course, the firefighters knew it was going to be a windy day. They were ready for this kind of fire. Still, they're grateful that it didn't spread out of control.
After the fires of 2020, we're just extra thankful for the resources and the partnerships that we have here. We're always watchful, especially on a windy day, for any spark, and we know that any spark, any ember can become the next Cameron Peak fire.
Fire crews still couldn't say what started the fire. They say it is about 25% contained. So who's ready for ski season? Take a look. A light dusting at Loveland Ski Area early this morning. Loveland says they're still about 10 days away from turning on the snow guns and starting the snowmaking process for the early season. They hope to open for skiers in mid-October or as far as maybe early November. The snow, though, it didn't stick around very long. At about 10 a.m., our camera at the ski area showed most of that snow had already melted.
That first picture, though, looked like a painting.
It was real.
Here in Denver, it feels a bit like fall. We're taking a live look outside. Clear, beautiful day, a little breezy. We're talking about the wind and cooler temperatures. Kathy is joining us with our first look at the forecast. Yes, Monday feels very different than Saturday or
Yes.
last Friday or whatever else you want to name.
You remember yesterday we talked about the 2-for-1 special in the weather office?
Fronts, yeah.
That's right. First front came through. It brought in the wind, the cooler air, and the light dusting of snow to the high country. The next storm, the next front is coming in tonight, so we'll probably see that all over again. Also, you may have noticed there was a little bit of haze, just a little thin veil of smoke and haze out there. And that's going to go away as well. Outside we go. Blue skies now returning to the area, and we're getting set for a big full harvest moon tonight. Clouds on the increase across the Continental Divide. Snow level around 9,000 feet. Second front coming in will keep us in the 60s, believe it or not. 60s. Typical highs are about 10 degrees warmer than that. It's been a long time since I've been able to talk about below average high temperatures. Winds are coming in really good out of the north and northeast. They have been gusty and cold all afternoon, and that will be a trend throughout the evening. The front is moved through. Center of circulation is west of Minneapolis, but the counterclockwise flow will pull another little surge of cool air in, maybe a light dusting of snow above 10,000 feet. And out ahead of this system, we're tracking severe thunderstorms, Minneapolis, Omaha, down to the Wichita area. Severe thunderstorm watch there. A little bit of a boundary near Colorado Springs, so we have had a few light rain showers down around El Paso County. Severe weather outside our state's border for tonight, so we'll call it partly cloudy, and then notice that boundary. Colorado Springs just to the south of Castle Rock, extending east toward Lyman and Burlington. A few showers may form along that border. As this next little surge comes through, we put isolated showers in. Once it comes through, the winds will die down and temperatures we're headed back into the 40s tonight. So coming up in Maine weather, we're tracking the next cool front, potential for more mountain snow. And tomorrow, it's the last full day of summer. We'll talk about the forecast for that and all about the autumnal equinox. So there's a lot happening this week.
Thomas Durst. We'll talk about that soon. Hundreds of Denver Public School students surrounded the Emily Griffith building that houses the DPS administrative offices today. They spent hours calling for the resignation of School Board Director Tay Anderson after sexual assault allegations surfaced earlier this year. An independent investigation found claims that Anderson sexually assaulted anyone were not substantiated. Investigators found that Anderson had flirtatious interactions with a 16-year-old. Anderson said he stopped engaging with her after learning her age. A DPS spokesperson says that the board president and DPS superintendent met with leaders of today's protest to discuss their concerns. On Friday, the school board did vote to censure Anderson.
We've seen kids of all ages who have been hospitalized with COVID-19. So this vaccine is going to be very good.
The news today that children ages 5 to 11 have now moved a step closer to getting a shot for COVID-19. Pfizer announcing that its trial of more than 2,000 kids found its vaccine to be both safe and effective for that age group at a reduced dose. Pfizer now plans to ask the FDA for emergency use authorization. This comes as pediatric COVID cases are on the rise, up 240% nationwide just since July. Pfizer is also testing its vaccine in children under 5 and expects results from that trial by the end of the year. Whether it's vaccines for children, boosters, emergency use, or full approval, there are several steps that a manufacturer goes through to get a green light. The vaccines go through several trial phases to gather data for federal regulators. After receiving emergency use authorization, those studies can expand to include real-world data. The FDA's Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee will review the information for the FDA to approve. An independent committee also reviews the safety and efficacy information for the CDC to issue guidance on how that vaccine can be given. Once it goes through both the FDA and the CDC, then it can be given to the public.
This morning, the state opened 4 new mass vaccination sites, 3 in the Denver metro area, 1 in Colorado Springs. State health leaders say they did it to meet the potential increase in demand. As vaccine mandate deadlines approach, each site will be able to administer 1,000 doses per day. The sites are open daily through September 30th, and we have a list of the new vaccination sites on 9news.com. The White House says the U.S. will ease travel restrictions for fully vaccinated foreign travelers. Starting in November, non-essential travel will once again be allowed from Europe and the UK. Foreign travelers will have to show proof of vaccination and a negative COVID test result before boarding a plane to the U.S. The White House says it is waiting until November to give agencies and airlines time to prepare. It's a different story if you're traveling on land. The U.S. has extended its non-essential ground travel restrictions with Canada and Mexico through October 21st.